What's going on, my people? Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews. And today we have a pretty unique review. We're going to be reviewing Marvel's all-time Spider-Man villains. And I'm only going to start off with 5 today. I noticed there was a trend, especially like say in the Sam Raimi universe. I think the villains were awesome, but there was a few that stood out more than others. There weren't that many in the Andrew Garfield universe. There was only 2 movies. And then we get to Tom Holland's trilogy. And I'm going to be tying in all 3. So these are my top 5 all-time villains. And I'm going to start from number 1. Starting with number 1, I feel Willem Dafoe, who plays the Green Goblin. He was awesome in his movie, even though in the first movie with Sam Raimi, sometimes he came off a bit too excited, too campy. But overall, his performance, especially that dual performance, was amazing. And then when he entered this new Spider-Man in No Way Home, I think he hit it out the ballpark. Having made over 100 films in his legendary career, he's internationally respected for bringing versatility, boldness to his roles, endearing to some of the most iconic films of our time up to date. His artistic curiosity and exploring the human conditions lead him to projects all over the world. He's not just your big budget guy, he's your low budget guy, he's your indie film guy. A lot of his films go to the film festival. Recently, Dafoe's performance as the Green Goblin has gotten a lot of flack for being cheesy, but when you really see this movie, me personally, I thought the take on his character was spot on. He hams up every single scene he's in. He's a scene stealer, making his entire performance in the movie an absolute blast to watch. There's no villain like him, no villain like him. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man definitely met his match when it came to Green Goblin. So Willem Dafoe, definitely number 1. Number 2, I gotta go with Alfred Molina, who plays Dr. Octopus. Alfred Molina was born in England. His mother was Italian-born. His father was a Spanish-born waiter and chauffeur. He studied at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama back in London. His stage work includes 2 major royal plays. This man is very educated, and he's generally considered to be the best Spider-Man villain on screen. I think he's right up there with Green Goblin. That's why he's here at number 2. Those 2 are very interchangeable, but from Willem Dafoe's recent performance, I got to give him number 1. But Alfred Molina, his Doc Ock, I feel like it aged well, just like I hoped. At the time, it was very sympathetic. But with other villains, like, say, Magneto and Loki, doing basically a similar angle to what he did, I think this guy just nailed that character. He brings such a monstrosity, but simpleness, but coolness. And he's legendary in his role. I didn't see no other person playing Dr. Octopus. I'm really excited they actually brought him back. Yeah, because I think any other actor, I don't care who they were, the comparison would have been drastic. I think they probably would have been flat compared to the way he brings his gravitas to that role. And I think he's enough competition to Willem Dafoe, right, at number 2. Now, at number 3, I'm going to have to go with Michael Keaton, who's not only has a stellar long lines of films stemming back from the 80s, but not only is he Batman, he's coming back for the Flash movie, but he's the Vulture in this Spider-Man universe. And he has a lot of, his backstory is amazing, the way they fleshed it out. He's human at the end of the day, and he has a reason in which why he does the things he does, why he steals his merchandise and makes it basically, he weaponizes his products. And I like him in this role. He's very human. He's very necessary. especially as an adversary to Spider-Man. He makes Spider-Man's life very difficult. And in Homecoming, he portrayed that role to a T. He has that, it's hard to explain, but Michael Keaton, he has that shtick, that look. And he's a legend. So he's my number 3. Number 4, we gotta mention Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I remember in pre-production when they were talking about having Mysterio in this movie and they were gonna use him as a good guy. I already knew there was gonna be a plot twist eventually, because in the comics, we all know he's a villain. But I didn't know how that was gonna transpire into the actual films. I don't know how it was gonna relate. And they did an amazing, amazing job, especially with the special effects. But they needed a capable actor to go ahead and bring that to life. And Jake Gyllenhaal is everything in that role. He also, just like Willem Dafoe, brings a certain gravitas to his roles. You know, when he gets a role, he goes all in, and he's not just a high budget kind of guy. He does low indies. He does the festival kind of films, and he's an amazing actor. And he definitely brought it as Mysterio. That was my number 4. And last but not least, we're gonna go with Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx as Electro. I think he had a lot of great moments in his amazing Spider-Man debut, and you know, he was Electro with the blue, and now in No Way Home he was with the green. And I think he didn't get a lot of screen time in this movie, but the screen time that he did get, I thought he stood out. You know, Jamie Foxx, as we know, he's an American actor, singer, comedian. He's a triple threat. He's won an Academy Award for Best Actor. He has the BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role, the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy, for his work in the biographical film Ray, back in 2004, where he played Ray Charles. In the same year, he was nominated for the Academy Award as well. I think Jamie Foxx's Electro loses points for being a bubbling idiot for the first half of that first movie in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man universe. But when he finally becomes Electro, he's pretty cool and he's very threatening as the villain in that movie. But he gets sidelined too much for him to really leave much of an impact. But with that being said, he does stand out. He gets a couple of fun action scenes with Spider-Man. There's a lot of CGI in that movie, so, you know, he's not fully to blame. But aside from that, he doesn't get much time to shine, in my opinion. And overall, that's why he's number 5. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, but as a villain, you know, he comes number 5. That's my top 5. But then you have other people that you could mention, like James Franco, being Harry Osborn in the series. You have Rhys Ifans, who gives an adequate performance as the Lizard, but he's not top 5. Thomas Hayden Church, who gave a pretty good performance as Sandman, actually making him fairly sympathetic. But, you know, I couldn't put him in the top 5. I'm not going to mention Topher Grace because he was atrocious. Paul Giamatti, who played the Rhino, is one of the worst supervillains I've seen in film in a long time, even though he didn't get that much shine. He was towards the ending of a movie. And I know he was set up for the Sinister Six, but he was the worst part of that movie. And much respect to Paul Giamatti. I love him in Billions and his past work, but he wasn't it. And then we get people like Dane DeHaan, who plays the Goblin in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man as well. He was pretty good. You know, we really see some things that could have transpired, but that never really took off. That didn't go nowhere in that series. But, you know, those were worthy mentions. And definitely, that's my review on them. If you have any questions in the future, please put your opinions, put your comments down in the bottom and let me know what you thought. If you like this video, go ahead and like it. You can hit that notification bell and please subscribe to the next one. Peace.